You've probably watched an NBA game and thought, there's no way that wasn't a travel. 3 steps to the basket, a weird gather. A player picks up the ball and somehow gets 2 more steps. You see it with your own eyes. So why don't the referees blow the whistle? Here's the crazy part. A lot of the time, it actually isn't a travel. The NBA has a rule that most casual players completely misunderstand. And once you understand it, you will never watch a basketball game the same way again.
Donovan, Giants.
There is one specific situation where even NBA players can get called for traveling. And that's exactly where things get interesting. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly when the NBA's famous 2 steps actually begin, and why certain moves that look completely illegal are 100% within the rules. Let's get into it. 2 steps isn't the whole rule. Most people, coaches, players, fans, believe the traveling rule works like this. You catch the ball and you get 2 steps. That's it. Anything more is a travel. Simple, right? Here's the thing. That's an oversimplification. And it's the exact reason why so many plays that look illegal on TV are completely legal by the rules. The real question the rules are asking isn't, how many steps did he take? The real question is, when did he actually gain control of the ball? This is where the gather step comes in. The gather step is the moment when a player, while moving, while dribbling, first secures control of the ball before they start using their steps to finish a move. And here's the key. The gather step itself doesn't count as one of your 2 allowed steps. A player who gathers the ball while progressing may take 2 steps in coming to a stop, passing, or shooting the ball. The gathering step itself is not counted as one of the 2 permitted steps. But what exactly is the gather? And how do you identify it in real time? Because this is the part that makes everything click. Here's the sequence, step by step. First, the gather. This is the moment the player takes control of the ball, stops dribbling, secures it in their hands while still moving. Then, step 1, the first legal step after the gather. Then, step 2, the second legal step. Then, the finish. The reason this looks like 3 or 4 steps on TV is because most people are watching from the wrong moment. They start counting at the wrong place. They see the gather happening and count it as step 1. So everything after looks like a step too many. But the gather doesn't count. It's 0. So what does the gather actually look like? Watch for these 3 things in slow motion. First, the dribble stops. Second, both hands touch the ball at the same time. Third, their body is still moving forward. That moment is the gather. Everything before it doesn't count toward the 2 steps. Everything after it does. So, the question to ask when you watch a play is not, how many steps did he take? It's, when did he actually get control of the ball? Answer that, and the whole play suddenly makes sense.
Kyrie Irving switches it over to left hand and drips it in. Off a
going full speed, goes over the top and easily switches.
Now here's where it gets really interesting, because at game speed, the gather can be almost invisible, and that's exactly why so many NBA moves look illegal when they're actually not. Third, the gather itself, because it's happening in motion, sometimes mid-stride, it blends visually into the footwork, and the whole sequence looks like one long illegal run.
Butler spinning, and what a move by Jimmy Butler!
Take the Euro step. You see a player drive toward the basket. Take what looks like a step in one direction, then a big step in the completely opposite direction to avoid a defender.
Yes, it can.
Where's my hat? Oh, I dropped it.
At full speed, it looks like 3 or 4 steps. But here's what's actually happening. The player gathers the ball while moving, takes step 1 in one direction, and step 2 the other way. 2 steps, just in different directions than you expected. Completely legal.
The journey here to the East Bay. Siakam with the bucket, and he's got 26.
Spin moves work the same way. The gather happens before the spin begins, and the 2 steps carry the player through the rotation. It only looks like extra steps because the body is rotating while the feet are moving. And long strides to the basket. When an NBA player is 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan and takes a single step that covers 4 feet of ground, That one step can look like two to a viewer not used to elite athleticism. They have long legs. One step just reaches the rim.
It's Westbrook. He'll back. Nice spin move. He takes it in. Lillard tried to defend.
Look at this.
This is the part most players get wrong, because the step back involves the gather and the footwork, both happening at high speed, which makes it the most confusing move in basketball to understand legally. Luka, Harden, Curry. Here's what's actually happening. The step back, made famous by James Harden, perfected by Luka Doncic, and used everywhere from pickup games to the NBA Finals. And almost every time someone uses it effectively, someone else in the gym yells, "Travel." So let's break down exactly what's happening. Here's the sequence. The player is dribbling forward or laterally. On the last dribble, they pick up the ball. That's the gather. The gather happens as one foot is planted on the ground. Then they step back with the other foot. That's step one. Then they may hop or step back again with both feet or the other foot. That's step two. Then they rise and shoot.
Well, Anthony, do make big shots. Ooh, nice move.
What would actually make it a travel now? If the player establishes a pivot foot before the gather, meaning they're already in control of the ball with a set foot, and then lifts that pivot foot without shooting or passing, that's a travel. Or if a player takes a third step after the gather, or if the gather itself is unclear, where it's genuinely difficult to determine when control was established. That last one is where most referee judgment calls happen in real games. The rule is clear. The application at game speed sometimes isn't. And it's worth saying, not every move you see in an NBA game is automatically legal just because the referee doesn't call it. Referees miss calls. The gather timing can be genuinely ambiguous. What we're talking about is how the rule works when applied correctly. Some of those plays are close to the line, and that's exactly what makes the rule interesting. But now, we come to the moment this whole video has been building toward that changes everything. You've been counting from the wrong moment. Here it is. The secret isn't that NBA players get extra steps. It's that most people are counting the steps from the wrong moment. If you start counting when the player picks up the ball, before the gather is complete, you'll almost always count too many steps, and the play looks illegal. But if you start counting after the gather is complete, after control is established, you'll count exactly 2 steps, and the play is perfectly legal.
DeRozan. Oh, great spin move. Broke his ankles and took it in.
Once you understand the gather and start watching for it, you're watching a completely different game. Now let's turn this rule knowledge into something you can actually feel on the court, with a footwork workout built specifically around legal NBA movement. 4 drills, 20 minutes. Here's the workout. Go slow first. The goal of this workout is not to score. It is to make the legal footwork feel natural and automatic. A player who understands the gather and practices it correctly will naturally stop traveling in games, because they'll feel the moment control is established and work within that framework without thinking about it. Here's your challenge for the next time you watch an NBA game. Don't just count the steps. Watch the gather. Find the moment the player first secures control of the ball. Start counting from there. I guarantee you'll see the play completely differently. So the next time you see an NBA player take what looks like 3 steps, don't immediately yell, "Travel." Watch the gather first. Find when control was established. Count from there. Once you understand that moment, you'll start seeing NBA footwork completely differently. And you'll probably yell "travel" a lot less too. If you learned something new today, hit the like button. Subscribe to KY Hoops for more NBA skill breakdowns and basketball secrets. And comment below. What's the next NBA rule or move you want us to break down? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. See you in the next video.